It's Almost Dry is Pusha T's magnum opus. Is that a big statement? Yup. Just looking at his solo albums alone, Pusha has delivered consistent greatness 4 times in a row at this point. But I think with this one, he's reached his final form. There's not many albums that are worthy of multiple listens, let alone playing the same track over and over to dig for meaning. But Pusha has delivered that for over 20 years. I can't say it all clicked on first listen, but every time I revisit it, the lyrics of It's Almost Dry unfold to me even more. So I wanted to make this video as a personal thing to deep dive into the album and just try to understand it a little better.
I only know lyric-driven metaphors, rap, street rap, that's it.
And you're comfortable with that.
And that's what I'm comfortable with. I know if I step outside of that, I'm gonna look like a clown.
Right.
That's just not, not me.
I'm telling you, the recording sessions for It's Almost Dry are gonna go down in music history. This album is half produced by Pharrell and half produced by Kanye, 2 of the greatest producers of all time and the 2 most important collaborators that Pusha has ever worked with, aside from his brother. I love Clips, I love Lord Willing, and I especially love Hell Hath No Fury. So when I heard that Pharrell was teaming up with Pusha for another album, I was beyond excited for it, especially considering he was coming off Daytona. Kanye's minimalist and obscure beats were perfect for Pusha's materialistic poetry, and the shortness of it made it feel like a shot of adrenaline straight to the heart. What's cool about It's Almost Dry is that without needing to look at the liner notes, you instantly know if you're listening to a Pharrell or Kanye track. And for Pusha, each of their creative processes were just as distinct. When working with Pharrell, Pusha would get up at 6 AM every morning to work on the album.
He loves God. He loves God. But this guy is a fucking demon. and he loves anything dark, and that's the only thing that when we are sitting down to make, I know it sounds mean, but I promise you, when we sit down to make music, he don't want to hear no nice chords.
Pharrell wanted Pusha to embody a character in each of his verses. So in their sessions, the focus was primarily on songwriting and composition to take Pusha's craft to the next level. On a song like Call My Bluff, you can see the results of that process, with Push using an almost ominous flow. He's talking in this very laid-back, matter-of-fact way about how dangerous he is. Whereas when Kanye and Pusha collaborated, Kanye only demanded bars from Pusha. That's it. Whilst he would work on finding the hardest samples, the hardest drums, and designing a brick full of merch for the album in the meantime. In the lead up to the album's drop, Pusha described himself as the Martin Scorsese of street rap. I think like Scorsese, Pusha understands that there is a level of coolness to all this debauchery for his audience. They both tap into our darkest desires. But what makes them great is that they never overindulge. They always show the consequences and the disturbing sides to this lifestyle as they are. None of it is glamorized.
Y'all don't ask Martin Scorsese to make Gone with the Wind. You don't. You want him to make a gangster flick with guns, mobsters, killers, boom. And we all run to the movie every time. We all doing whatever we doing to see it, talking about it, and loving it for a lifetime. I don't even understand why people talk about what my content is versus what somebody else's content is. Man, I'm here to entertain a certain sector of people. I'm not reaching out trying to get new people and so on and so forth. Like, if you're a surface level listener, it's all cocaine. You surface level, but I don't think I write for surface level listeners. I write for people who be like, yo, rewind that back.
Pusha didn't have to reinvent the wheel, he just gave it a better design. On every album he improves and finds new ways to rap about what he knows best. Daytona felt like organized chaos. You look at a song like Santeria, the beat switches halfway through, it's unpredictable, and the only thing holding it together is Pusha's rapping. On the other hand, It's Almost Dry is noticeably more clinical and polished, and I would even go as far to say that this is the best Pusha has ever rapped in his career thus far. Here's why. The album opens with Brambleton, which is easily Pusha's most personal song in years. The track follows a friendship that Push and his former manager had coming up in Virginia together. Brambleton is the name of the street where Push's mother worked during his childhood, but it's revealed that this guy basically betrayed Pusha by doing an interview on Vlad TV, where he tried to claim credit as the inspiration for Clips' music. The story goes that this manager, Anthony Gonzalez, was sentenced to 32 years in prison for a drug conspiracy in 2009, which is one of the reasons that Clips broke up, leading to Pusha's success as a solo artist. It's a really hard-hitting song because Pusha illustrates this tight, almost brotherly bond that he had with the guy, talking about how they had their own unique way of selling drugs while listening to Biggie and Tupac. It gives weight to why Pusha has such a cold demeanor in his music. I mean, this is someone who he truly opened himself up to, but now can't talk to anymore. My favorite bar on the song is, "Had a million answers, didn't have a clue why Michael kissed Fredo in Godfather 2. A classic gangster movie reference for a classic gangster story of betrayal. This is a nod to the scene in that film where Michael Corleone reveals to Fredo that he knows he's the traitor and kisses him. It's one of the few times in Godfather 2 that we see Michael in a vulnerable state, his real self piercing through the gangster image that he's trying to keep up. I think what Pusha is saying here is that his former manager could have given Vlad a million answers about their shared history, but he didn't count on the fact that Pusha truly looked up to him and saw him as family. The song ends with Pusha repaying the favor, saying that this guy needed Push and all his friends to move the drugs for him. In actuality, he wouldn't have been anything without Pusha. After this, we hit the ground running with another Pharrell produced track, Let the Smokers Shine the Coupes. Now that title, at least for me, was really confusing to wrap my head around. In the song, Push raps, "If money is the evil root, let the smokers shine the coupes." So I think he means that if chasing money is the corrupt path in life, then let the most ruthless win. You know, Pusha is very comfortable in his position as rap's villain. He doesn't care one bit if he comes off as materialistic. That's the lifestyle he's selling. Either nod your head to it or hit fast forward. And with lines like, "Don't brag bricks to me if they ain't tell you to bring your skis," it's gonna be the former. Even though we know Push has long since moved on from that lifestyle in real life, in his raps he entertains the idea that he's a luxury drug dealer selling to only the most distinguished of clients. It's like the cover art for Daytona, which is a photo of Whitney Houston's bathroom taken before her death. He's more than insinuating that drug addiction goes hand in hand with fame and success. Becoming a celebrity has only brought him closer to the product. But like he raps on Just So You Remember, this is the purest snow and he's selling white privilege. The sheer number of designer brands that Pusha name drops in this song is borderline sickening. Chanel, Patek, AMG, I could go on. But it's such an effective juxtaposition. We know that Pusha came from an environment where selling drugs had a disproportionately elevated risk due to policies targeting black communities. But now he's in Hollywood, where cocaine use is actively protected and a form of luxury. It's all fake and Pusha knows it. This contrast continues on Dreaming of the Past. I love how Pusha is genuinely insulted that some random girl would mispronounce Lanvin as Lanvin. It's been said before, but I can't exaggerate how hard Kanye snapped on this beat with his trademark style. The sample is just a goldmine for Pusha to talk about his drug dealing past. There are so many lines here that make you go, how did he even come up with that? Like, my weight keeping guys on the bikes like Amblin, talking about how his drugs were moved on bikes like the logo of Steven Spielberg's production company. It's bragging at its finest. Kanye himself appears at the end of the track for a 6-bar verse. Unfortunately, this isn't New God flow and he doesn't quite match Pusha's energy. But at least his voice sounds healthy, which I can't say for his other feature here on Rock and Roll. Dude sounds like he laid the verse on his deathbed. It's all good though, because once again, the production is fire. This time Ye samples Beyonce, and Cudi kills it on the hook. It really would be sad if this is the last time we hear them on a song together. Interestingly, Pusha ends his verse calling himself Arthur Fleck when he's pissed, of course referencing the Joker movie. It's a motif throughout the album with Pusha using his own Joker laugh. I guess he can relate to that unhinged but calculated energy that the Joker personifies. In fact, during the making of the album, Pharrell showed Pusha the film and they had it on mute whilst recording, making sure that every song matched its tone. Speaking of Pharrell, during this middle stretch of the album, we get Neck and Wrist, which features both him and Jay-Z.
It's about taste level, that, you know, just that flossing and flexing. And I was like, man, I needed this record to step up a level. So that's why I sent it to Hov, because I felt like I can't say what you say. Like,
I can't even.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you can't. And I knew it would give the record like an uptick.
Seriously, Neck and Wrist Don't Lie is such a cool way to show off wealth and power. The Colgate Kilo, the hood needs whitening. Come on, do I even need to say more? Push just knows exactly who he is and taps into that every single time. It's a rare skill that he shares with Jay, who comes in with an amazing verse. He raps about how he's seen as a cheater or inauthentic for all the success he's had. It's a sentiment that Pusha shares on Call My Bluff, which is basically Pusha daring other rappers to diss him. Everything doesn't need to be addressed, but if you think he's bluffing, then he won't hold back. It's a sad reality that because of inflation, you don't have to be a drug user to relate to yesterday's price is not today's price. Diet Coke is the epitome of what makes It's Almost Dry great. This album is the perfect mix of nostalgia and innovation. The beat is very reminiscent of Kanye's early stuff like H to the Izzo and Through the Wire. 88 Keys actually produced it in 2004, but Pusha's lyrics bring it into 2022.
Diet Coke was like an ill name for a record, and it is a code name for crack. You know what I'm saying? Like the news called it crack, I called it Diet Coke.
Just So You Remember, which is also produced by Kanye, has got to be my favorite song on the album though. That apocalyptic sample is perfect for Pusha, and he delivers each of his verses like an absolute monster. Seeing you rappers apply for the stimulus, living a lie but die for your images, Pusha understands that in Hollywood, despite this veneer of class and security, he's surrounded by lies at every corner, and he's just here to call it for what it is. The final bar of the song, Pusha says, "I live in a world that never leaves witnesses," meaning he comes from an occupation where everyone involved is either dead or in jail. It's lines like these which is why Pusha is more than just coke rap. Yes, he provides a window into the streets and Hollywood, but what he's talking about are human stories of betrayal, greed, addiction. Behind the bragging, there's so much depth to his writing, which is why the final product always feels extremely well-rounded. Pusha can even jump on a track like Scrape It Off, which features Lil Uzi and Don Toliver, and there's no disconnect between these two generations of rap. He's timeless. In the final act of the album, we get Hear Me Clearly and Open Air. Just on the production alone, I think Hear Me Clearly has to be the hardest track on the album. First bar, he makes it clear that drug dealer Rolexes are his measure of success, not TikTok clout. He talks about being compared to two martyrs, Biggie and Pac, but he's chasing moguls. Even though Pusha's music is very artfully made, he comes off in his verses like he sees rapping and selling drugs as one and the same, a way to make ends meet. On Open Air, we get a glimpse into Pusha's method for moving his cocaine, loading it on docks while the coast is clear. Pusha questions, why do a turkey drive when we feed the projects for most of the year? It's a satisfying bar, but it succinctly points out the poverty and the grim situations that lead to drug crime.
Hip hop does pride itself on being real, and it was a music made out of despair, desperation, poverty, reality, the message. You know, broken glass everywhere. Somebody came outside and just started like flowing and giving rhythm to what they were seeing outside.
Finally, It's Almost Dry comes to a close with I Pray For You. My gosh, this song is incredible. Not only does it feature production from both Labyrinth and Kanye, but it's also a Clips reunion. I mean, with a lineup like that, how do you not make it a slam dunk? Pusha begins his verse by saying, "Rarely do you see the phoenix rise from the ashes." Now this could be referencing the breakup of Clips, but really, I think it's just pointing out how much of an anomaly his entire life is. He's the married drug dealer, the embodiment of a gangster legend. The church-style vocals from Labyrinth make this feel like an epic moment for Pusha. He'll live forever because what he writes is timeless. This track also reminds me a lot of Nightmares, which is the final song on Hell Hath No Fury. On both tracks, Pusha and Malice reflect on their careers in a more solemn way. Here, Malice talks about still having Vietnam-like flashbacks and being triggered by a sniff. But unlike Nightmares, he's not consumed by paranoia or guilt anymore. I think this song really encapsulates the title of the album, It's Almost Dry. Sure, it refers to how crack needs to dry before it can be consumed, or how a painting is wet before it's complete. But I think it also refers to Pusha himself. He's almost dry. He's in a place now where he seems fulfilled. He has 4 classic albums. He's making music with his brother again. And he has a family. Of course, there's still more to the story. Of course, there's still more coke raps to come. But Pusha is solidified where he is right now.
Man, I feel really good. I feel like I executed exactly what I wanted to execute. I'm like really big on just restoring the feeling of like East Coast hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Lyric driven East Coast hip hop, but I want it to feel futuristic. You know what I'm saying? I want you to feel that essence, but see how it progresses. And I think we did. I think myself, Pharrell, and Ye really made that happen.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I just wanted to give a brief channel update as to where I'm heading next. So across the next few videos, I want to incorporate that video essay style that you just saw with the more face-to-face stuff that I've been doing recently. So I'm thinking of doing a Doja Cat video or a Jay-Z one. So if you have any recommendations on suggestions for how I can improve, make sure to let me know down in the comments, and also what videos you'd like to see from me next. I'm always looking for more suggestions, I guess. Anyways, thank you once again for watching the video, and have a good one.